Hi guys, it's Isis Fernandez, and I'm here to talk to you about goal, motivation, and conflict. Now, goal, motivation, conflict is a great, awesome way to understand your characters, what they're going to go through, how they're going to go through it, what's going on. And it's something that I love to teach. I actually teach this whenever I can, and I love to give credit where credit is due. So the first thing I have to say that this technique about story is not mine. I'm not smart enough to put this together. Who is smart enough though is Deborah Dixon, and she wrote this awesome book on how to use goal, motivation, and conflict. Um, and I have been using it, and it's something that is whenever I'm lost in a story, especially if it's like during NaNoWriMo, where I'm just like, I don't know where the words are going to come from today. Going back to goal, motivation, conflict, and understanding how characters work together, it's been very, very helpful. So let's get started here. I'm going to do a screen share because I can. Um, and it's important for me to screen share because I'm gonna do some writing here. Okay, so here we are, and what goal, motivation, conflict is an actual chart. It's probably one of the most organized things you can do as a writer. Writers can be disorganized. If you look at my desk, you will see that it is true. Um, So this is probably one of the most organized ways to understand who a character is, why they're doing the things that they are doing. And understanding the character helps at the beginning, and understanding their motivation and their goals helps in a couple of ways. One, it helps you get unstuck when you are stuck. Because when you are stuck, or what like people like to call writer's block, it's because you went off the rails somewhere, usually. You went off the rails somewhere and you're like, oh, I did something that wasn't true to the character. One. Two, it helps with scene and sequel. And it helps you to understand a scene better and how that scene functions in terms of the character's goal, motivation, and conflict. So let's get started here. So we know that every character has a goal. They have motivations, and they have. Now, I need to define these for you. A goal is something that they want. It could be internal or external. All three of these can be internal or external. It's something that they want, they cannot live without. The reasons why they want that thing that they can't live without is called motivation. Why do they need to get or do this particular goal? And the conflict is what's keeping them from getting there, right? So I like to use the example of someone who wants a Frosty. I call her Wendy. And so, what is Wendy's goal? To get the darn Frosty, right? I must spell Frosty correctly. All right. So, what is the motivation for Wendy getting a Frosty? Now, because we are creating this, we can say whatever we want. So maybe her motivation is that it's a hot day. Right? So what's keeping her from getting the Frosty? She could have no money. It could be she has no ride. It could be that it's the middle of the workday. So you have here a basic story. A basic, it could be a short story here. And so you can make this as basic or elaborate as possible because you're probably doing NaNoWriMo. you probably want to do this as elaborate as possible, mostly because there will be days where your brain is just, I don't understand what words are. So think of Wendy having no money, no ride, and in the middle of a workday wanting a Frosty. What is that story like? What does she do to keep her from getting that Frosty or trying to get that Frosty? Maybe she asks to borrow money, and the money that she borrows happens to be from a coworker's desk, and she's like, "Oh, Peter, well, you know what? I borrow money from him all the time. I'm just gonna grab it from that top desk drawer, and I'll pay him back tomorrow." Right? So what she doesn't know is that that money has been earmarked for something. Maybe it's the last little bit to pay off something, right? Maybe it's part of a bigger wad of cash to pay off um, a, a mob. Haha, to pay off the mob. And so he is short by $1. And so now there's a problem with Peter, and Wendy has to help Peter out. You see how that works? Something very, very tiny. It could be that she has a boss that is horrible, right? She has a horrible boss. And that particular boss is on her butt every single day of every minute. And it could be that she wants that Frosty so very badly. She may have also, I don't know, maybe hungry. She hasn't had lunch all day. And so what happens if she has a horrible boss? She hasn't eaten lunch all day. The only thing she wants is a Frosty because a Frosty makes her feel much better. How is she going to get out of this? Does she quit a job? What does she do? So that's just a basic how-to on how to use this. Now remember when I said you have an internal and external goal motivation conflict, right? For some reason this isn't writing well. Well, the last example that we did an external. Everything is pretty much outside. But what if we did the same story and we decided to go internal? So the goal stays the same. She wants a Frosty. But what does that Frosty represent? Frosty could be something of she wants to feel fulfilled, safety, security, right? We're digging deeper, right? It's a deeper type of thing. The motivation, why does anyone want to feel fulfilled and safe and to feel secure, right? Because life has dealt some bad hands. Oh, okay, some bad hands. Apparently, this is not right. Some bad hands, and so the conflict for her to get this Frosty is that she just doesn't. She probably still has that bad boss, but she feels insecure, and she can't stand up to the bad boss, or stand up for herself. And so we have that problem there. So you see how internal and external motivations can take something as basic as Wendy wanting to get a Frosty, and now you have a possible mob boss situation. You have something with some internal conflict there. She's insecure, and you also have another antagonist. You have the bad boss. So you have the bad boss, the mob boss coming after Peter. You also have Wendy trying to get this Frosty, but she can't get the Frosty because she feels really insecure. And so this is something that, like, externally she's all put together, but inside she's a whole hot mess. And this is just the story of the Frosty. So do you see how goal, motivation, conflict can help you guide this, guide your story? I would do one of these for your protagonist and your antagonist, because the conflict there is going to be always your antagonist. Like at the beginning when we talked about the boss, and the boss being a horrible, horrible human being, right? Um, the boss also needs their goal motivation, their own goal motivation conflict. And so why is the boss so horrible? What is the goal? The goal could be that they want Wendy to like toughen up, right? And the motivation is perhaps they see themselves in Wendy. And then the conflict is maybe they have a horrible boss, or maybe time is ticking because they want to give Wendy a promotion, but she can't get the promotion until she's ready. Or maybe the boss is getting ready to jet and they believe that Wendy's the only person that can do the job. And now you have an interesting story that can go for definitely many, many chapters. So I hope that this was helpful. Let me know if you need any more help, and enjoy your writing. Bye.